I chose to discuss two infographics, both that were related to lions, but were very different in their intentions. The first one was Why Lions Make a Great Financial Advisor, and the other one was titled Lion Fact File. They were both extremely good resources, but they also had some flaws, and I'm going to go over each of those and then lead you into a new infographic that I found to be most effective. The biggest thing they have in common is they both have a male lion illustration on them to give the viewer an idea of what a lion looks like if a viewer has never seen one. Other than that, there is not a lot in common with the visual and structural design of these two infographics. Both of these infographics were made to inform the audience very general facts about lions. They are both at very low reading levels and remain general in their explanations of things. Infographic 1 provides 6 main ideas about lions and how they can relate to information financial advisors should utilize. The first piece of information is the idea of lions hunting in prides relating to financial advisors needing to work together and be social. It also identifies how lions hunt and their use of teamwork, analysis, and strategy. It then connects this to financial advisors' need to have these same skills when giving financial advice and picking what is best for their clients. The third piece of information relates lions resting to financial advisors needing good time management. One of the worst pieces of information, but we will get in on that later. The fourth piece of information provided is that financial advisors should pounce on sales just as lions do on gazelles. The next main piece of information is that lions have great night vision and financial advisors need great foresight. The way these two pieces of information fit together on the same branch in the infographic, however, is extremely questionable. The last piece of information is that lion hierarchies are constantly changing, and just as lions must adapt, financial advisors must adapt to changing financial law. As far as the structure goes in this infographic, it shows a tree with 6 branches that each have a paragraph of information that gives information on what the author considers to be great aspects of a financial advisor that also relate to lion behaviors. The audience of this infographic is financial advisors, as it is clearly an attempt to provide useful information to financial advisors. With that being said, it is definitely not aimed at very accomplished financial advisors, as the information is extremely weak in how in-depth it is. It appears to me as more of a draw and interest in people becoming financial advisors, not as much helping already established financial advisors. Infographic 2 provides a much more in-depth analysis of lions and provides a huge amount of information about lions when compared with the amount of information about lions in Infographic 1. It first draws your attention to a small brown box that provides quick stats about lions and their genetic makeup, before going into a deeper outline of how these animals and their makeup interact with their environment. It then gives a couple other distinguishing facts about lions, such as lifespan, purpose of their mane, hunting tactics, and even the fact that they can leap up to 36 feet. It then goes into identifying 3 pieces of information about the declining lion population, then ending with how readers can help out further the lion conservation and find out more information. This design flows from top to bottom and is an extremely easy to follow infographic. It starts by building a base of knowledge on facts about lions and leads up to informing the reader about the lion's decreasing population. After the initial base of knowledge is laid, it goes into 3 cool things about lions and how they interact, and directly under that is 3 facts about lion population. In creating my new infographic, I wanted to stick with the main idea of Infographic 1, as it was clearly the weaker of the two, and using information from the second one, I could easily improve upon the concept in Infographic 1 in order to make it much more efficient and effective. There are 5 branches in this infographic. Each branch has 5 main lion facts that relate to 5 financial advisor tips. In terms of creating the new infographic, I looked at each branch and changed it from the original branch to ensure each point relates to lions and to a smaller financial advisor tip. In doing this, I felt it made the infographic have some sort of organization, but could keep the original concept of it being divided into the branches. In the first one, lions being social relates to the tip of financial advisors being social, so I don't think much change is necessary, other than changing the words to show a stronger relation between the 2 pieces. I added information from infographic 2 about the exact makeup of tribes to add depth to the information provided on lions. In the second one, I changed teamwork analysis and strategy to just analysis when discussing lion hunting tactics, as the financial tip that goes along with it only identifies skills of analysis as needed by financial advisors. I felt the teamwork and strategy misled the reader from the branch's purpose. The lion fact in the third one doesn't tie to financial advice well at all, as sleeping 24 hours doesn't relate to time management of advisors. I changed the lion fact to lions must use their skill of time in their attacks, just as financial advisors need to have strategy in how they will use their time. I pulled information from the second infographic to create this point, as it discusses lions' strategy of working in teams to take down much larger predators. In the fourth branch, the idea of pouncing on an opportunity is the piece of advice it is trying to get across, but it throws in too many financial advisors must pounce. I shortened it down to just a single use of pounce for describing financial advisors. The fifth one has a fact that I see as unrelated, as it is a stretch to relate great night vision to great foresight. At this point, I decided to delete the fifth idea, as foresight, although is a good piece of advice, did not work with this infographic. It presents lions not to be animals to use foresight, so I found it better to delete this piece of information in order for the rest of the infographic's facts to show a more clear relation between lions and financial advisors. The last piece of information relates changing lion hierarchy to changing financial law. I believe they are clearly related when you view them as both lions and financial advisors being able to adapt, but the wording is confusing. I held on to the design of breaking it into bubbles, however I got rid of the tree and branches and moved it to a more easier to follow 5-step design, all with one word in bold and one word used for both relations. I believe the audience of Infographic 1 to be a wide range of adults interested in improving financial skills, and so to make the changes, I felt that 5 Ways Lions Make Great Financial Advisors formed a better title, as it used the word ways instead of why. The other main change I made was, instead of labeling the branches by numbers, I labeled them by a key phrase, making them much easier to identify. With everything I've learned in this class, I believe that this final infographic is the most effective way to get across both information from Infographic 1 and Infographic 2 in a way that's easy to understand for a broad audience that's interested in financial advice.